Book it now. The Packers are going to have a top 32 offense this year. Grassy Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to another episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't have to be a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. Please have a top 10 offense. Please. Grassy, and today we are going to see if the Packers are going to have a top 10 offense. Before we get to that, I got to do a shout out for some new patrons and YouTube members over on the patreon.com/Tom Grassy Comedy Front. We got DeMarcus Curry and Thomas. Is it me? And over on the YouTube members, we have Ollie Simons and Hi Tom, I'm the spider on the wall. Hi. So thank you very much for your support. Now, in order for us to examine if the Green Bay Packers are going to have a top 10 offense this year, we got to go back to good old 2019. You know, when COVID wasn't in the United States, or at least the media wasn't reporting about it and no one knew about it. And everything was good, and the prospect of sports next year seemed to be a given. And now we are sitting home alone in our basements as COVID rages through the country. Some people don't want to put masks on. And I'm like, bro, just buy a Packers mask. They look cool. But anyway, in 2019, the Packers were ranked 18th in total yards, 17th in passing yards, 15th in rushing yards, and 15th in total points. So they were kind of the middle of the pack. And honestly, this is pretty good considering this was their first year under a new head coach. Nathaniel Hackett just came in, so they had to learn all new schemes, all new lingo, in which Aaron Rodgers has admittedly said, like, damn, this crap is complicated. On top of that, their wide receivers were lacking. Obviously, Davante Adams played great, but he was even out for a stretch with turf toe. But Allen Lazard really didn't come into his own until later in the season. In addition, they also had a pretty easy schedule. So to put that all together and say they were a middle-of-the-road offense last year, I mean, like, still made it to the NFC Championship game with that. Now in 2020, what has changed on the offense? Well, when it comes to wide receivers, you know, not a whole lot. We got Devin Funchess, who, as you know, I'm not like, oh man, here we go. He's going to be the savior of the team. Well, listen, hopefully he reaches his potential and does really well. That would be awesome. But the things that are more sticking out to me is that this is the second year under LaFleur and Hackett. And so you're going to have an offense that is going to be more in tempo, an offense that's going to be more used to the schemes and plays that are going to be called. So I think they'll be able to utilize the playbook more. And LaFleur is really going to make that offense more his own. While last year you saw more of a hybrid with McCarthy's offense, that's kind of what they regressed to in times where the playbook went out the window. On top of that, Aaron Jones had a phenomenal year last year. I'm assuming he's going to continue at this year. And now we have the addition of A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon, I think, with Aaron Jones is going to be problematic for defenses, is that you have Aaron Jones who can kind of just do it all. He's a multifaceted back. He's a threat in the run game, obviously, and then he's also a receiving threat. And so the fact that you have Jones and now you have this bruiser back like Dillon, you know, on third and short or on the goal line, you could just hand him the ball and he's like, I'm going to run that way. I think that's definitely going to be a huge benefit. They have a little bit of a tougher schedule this year, but, you know, as we all know, strength of schedule really doesn't mean anything, because who would have thought that the 49ers were going to go to the Super Bowl last year? On top of that, you have Jay Sternberger, who was injured last year, coming in and is going to be utilized more in this offense, is going to hopefully emerge as a tight end number one. You obviously brought back the big dog, Mercedes Lewis, and you also drafted guys like DeGuara, who I don't think will get a ton of playing time, but Jay Sternberger could definitely be a receiver threat. So while I think that if we're going to be a top 10 offense, one of the contingencies is going to be, is one of these wide receivers going to step up, right? Is Allen Lazard going to be a clear number two? What about EQ, who's coming back? MVS, who has all the potential in the world and just hasn't capitalized on it. Funchess, as we saw, and Reggie Bagleton. So if any one of those guys is able to step up as a good number two, I think this offense, when it comes to passing, we were 17th, is going to be better. Aaron Rodgers has thrown over 25 touchdowns in the past 2 seasons and over 4,000 yards. If he just replicates that, and I think we're going to be just fine when it comes to passing. But now the other big question on offense is right tackle. We regressed a little bit with Brian Bulaga going to Ricky Wagner. I don't think it's going to be a huge regression, but I'm just hoping that that right tackle spot is going to be reliable. And I think to answer this question, what our entire offense is going to hinge on is not just the wide receivers, but it is that running game. If we're going to be a top 10 offense, that running game is going to have to be top 10. And I think that they have a really good chance to be just that. With Jones blowing up the league last year, with Dillon coming in, who's going to be able to sit behind Jones, get in those rotations, and be used, especially near the end of the season when we have a lot of home games in December at Lambeau, I think that this is going to be a dynamic duo. And it's going to cause a ton of headaches for opposing defenses and their coordinators. So I think that there is a really, really good chance that they are a top 10 offense, considering we were nearly there last year. We were just outside of it, right there at like 15 or 16. And I think that that running game is going to put us over the edge, because the running game will make Aaron Rodgers more lethal and more efficient. Because if you're able to have that in your back pocket, defenses are going to have to adjust and they're going to have to stack the box. And that's where Aaron Rodgers is going to be the most dangerous. So I think, yes, I think you are going to see an improved Green Bay Packers offense who has a really, really great chance of being top 10. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to regress at all? Do you think that this offense is going to kind of just be right where they were last year? Let me know. You can always find me at TomGrassiComedy.com or at Tom Grassi Comedy on all social media. See down below. Check out Patcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and of course YouTube. And a big shout and thank you to all the patrons over at patreon.com/TomGrassiComedy and the YouTube members. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grassi. And as always, go Pack Go.